not an actual client. Terms apply.
Hey, Albert, can you help us plan and budget for a bathroom renovation?
I certainly can. Let me review your finances.
Who are you talking to?
Albert, my AI financial assistant that I can access right in the app. It automates all things finance, moves money, pays bills, creates personalized alerts, finds savings, and so much more.
Your bathroom renovation financial plan is ready. I found cash you can put aside, and to cover the rest, Albert can get you up to $10,000 fast.
Can you find contractors nearby within our budget?
Here's a list of contractors. Would you like help requesting a $10,000 loan for your bathroom renovation?
Yes!
Download the Albert app and use promo code READY to access Genius. Plus, get up to $10,000 for whatever you need. Just download the Albert app right now and use promo code READY to get up to $10,000. That's promo code READY.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's not just that Fauci confessed today. That's what that was. Not the fifth. That's a confession. This history has proven everybody who pleads the fifth before the Senate is a crook. We knew that. The greatest scandal in American political history. You would think the 20th century had it locked up, but there was conflation between the Republicans and the Democrats. The 21st century, the scandal is the Democrat Party and the Never-Trumpers. It's that clear. Embrace the suck. We'll talk about that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Dr. Anthony Fauci invoking the Fifth Amendment at a hearing before a GOP-led Senate panel on the COVID-19 pandemic. At least 18 have now been confirmed dead in Tuesday's major earthquake in Japan. President Trump responding after U.S. forces shot down a surprise Iranian missile attack. Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
President Trump tells Fox News about Iran, "We are going to beat the effing S out of them." He went on to say, "We'll be hitting them hard. They're going to get a beating." At City Hall, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signing a new executive order strengthening the Chicago procurement standard for firearms, accessories, and ammunition. 11 were shot, including 2 who died, and 1 person was stabbed in separate incidents across Chicago late Tuesday evening into early Wednesday morning. Northern Illinois University mourning the death of former football coach Joe Novak. Novak is dead at the age of 81. He led the Huskies from 1996 to 2007. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with stocks finishing its session lows and the Dow suffering its worst day of the year and the NASDAQ falling for a 6th straight session on escalating tensions in the Middle East and after the Fed delivered its decision on interest rates. The central bank leaving its benchmark rate unchanged for a 5th straight meeting at a range of 3.5% to 3.75%, despite persistently high inflation and a spike in energy prices. 3 Fed officials dissented, preferring a quarter-point rate increase. Oil prices surged with West Texas Intermediate crude at $85 a barrel. The Dow winners, Salesforce, Chevron, and Visa. The Dow decliners, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and Caterpillar. The Dow down 1,153 points. The Nasdaq lower by 434. S&P 500 down 113. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors, to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen every Saturday at noon for Home Answers right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Access Home and Vehicle Mobility Solutions and by Steiner Homes.
When it comes to supplements, 2 things matter most. A, that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Joni shared that before Relief Factor, her husband couldn't open his hands in the morning and had to give up playing the guitar. Now he wakes up with flexibility and he's back to playing music. They are both recommending Relief Factor to friends as a way to enjoy the things they love again. I get what Joni's husband went through. I couldn't paint. I couldn't button my own shirts in the morning. The pain made it so difficult to hold a paintbrush or button my shirts. It was horrible. And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
Tired of that outdated bath or shower but dread the cost and hassle of a lengthy remodel? Let Jacuzzi Bath Remodel come to the rescue with the perfect bathroom remodel at a price you can afford. Maybe stepping over that high bathtub feels unsafe, or you want to add a beautiful bath your whole family can enjoy. Whether it's a safer, easy entry shower complete with grab bars and a custom seat, to a beautiful spa-like family bath that's functional and stylish. With a Jacuzzi Bath Remodel, you can enjoy your personalized bath or shower installed in as little as 1 day. Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. To schedule your free design consultation and quote, call now. Call 800-384-5277. That's 800-384-5277. 800-384-5277. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, no reported delays. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 1 hour. The Express are tight. Ogden to Keeler. Outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour to 390. Crash reported at Independence. Stall at Manheim in the right lane. Then we're seeing delays on the outbound Stevenson 50 out to 355 and the Dan Ryan 30 downtown to 95th. Northbound I-57 at Flossmoor Jackknife Semi. Stop and go from US 30 with a Gapers delay southbound starting at 167th. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in the Tri-State either direction. Jane Addams, Reagan, all good. Slowing down eastbound 80, the entrance ramp from Ridgeland Avenue is blocked with an accident. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy atmosphere. The high will reach 87 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
What a 3 hours of aggravation, Squirrel. I must have done 150 push-ups. And the reason is, this is by far not just the greatest scandal of the 21st century. We're only 26 years into it. But it is clearly, by far, so far, the greatest scandal of the 21st century. But you could go back through time. Woodrow Wilson, I mean, you want to talk about a scumbag. You look at the scandals of his presidency, and I don't just mean the Mary Ellen Hulbert scandal, which was his affair he had. He was a twisted bastard, and the accusation that she was leveraging the affair and the love letters that came out to get us involved in World War I. That was pretty big. And then you go up through the years, and you look. He had a stroke for 17 months. His wife was the president. That's a big scandal, Squirrel. And you go into the Depression and FDR and all the social. I mean, the scandals are really amazing. But you know what happened in the 20th century? Republicans were right there. The same bulldog. The scandal of the Wyoming senator leasing the land to the oil companies, not telling anybody, taking a kickback, big scandal. And you got Kennedy. Government killed him. He was vice president. Directly linked to it. The Gulf of Tonkin, Vietnam, all the way up. And then the Republicans jump in, right? Not just with Nixon. You got Iran-Contra. You got Bush Sr. attached to all the scandals from World War II. CIA director, all the way through his son, the relationship with the Saudis. You could even say September 11th. Those are the same Republicans that were never Trumpers. But the real scandal is the entire Democrat Party. See, it's undeniable. The evidence has been laid out. I don't just mean this pickle-faced quack. He always was a moron suck-on. He's no frickin' doctor. The entire Democrat Party, from coast to coast, border to border, one giant scandal. From the smallest municipality to the biggest state. Scandal. Thieves, frauds, liars, and cheats. Every one of them. The constituents, after all, I mean, who are we really dealing with when you talk about a Democrat constituent? You're talking about the weak, the greedy, and the pathetic. You're talking about the repulsive. You're repulsive if you're a Democrat.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined.
This is why, Squirrel, when the old lady was pregnant, don't give me a boy. Because if this comes out, I'm going to have to abandon the ship on everybody. Can you imagine this sissy, this freak, this repulsive example of a man, of a human being, and of American is the base of the Democrat dimwit suck-on welfare thieving party?
We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease.
Shut the... Are you nuts? I don't give a rip what these people think. Not a rip. They've never been right about anything. And the higher up they get is only in government. They cannot exist in the real world. These are the people clogging up the streets, laying on the corners. These are the useless. But Fauci, how he was able to navigate. 1987, Squirrel. I remember it like yesterday. Just got out of high school. Really started to sow my oats. And there he was with AIDS. Talking about how you could catch it through air. This pickle-faced quack. Too stupid to even go near a dog's rectum.
Safe from the disease. This brings in the implications that there are other ways, just plain close contact. And given the long incubation period of this disease, we may be starting to see, as we're seeing virtually as the months go by, other groups that can be involved. And seeing it in children is really quite disturbing.
When you say other close contact, give me some examples.
Well, for example, if the close contact of a child is a household contact, perhaps there will be a certain number of cases of individual who are just living with and in close contact with someone with AIDS or at risk of AIDS who does not necessarily have to have intimate sexual contact or share a needle, but just the ordinary close contact that one sees in normal interpersonal relationships. Now that
only in government would anyone listen to a word that came out of this ugly bastard's face, this rat bastard that he is. Only in government could he have lived, let alone get a paycheck and raises and a stronger position. This is only the inevitable. But to show you what a confession looks like, this is a confession. There's nothing about the Fifth Amendment. This is a confession and a comedy show.
What day of the week is it today? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
And the beady-eyed bastard would wave and smile at whom in that entire room? All the Democrat thieves, representing the Democrat districts of thieves, constituents of morons and willful idiot slaves, who didn't like America, and certainly don't like a meritocracy, let alone capitalism. And they all cashed out. It is nothing more than a $2 wannabe gangster. But if we're going to hear the fifth, I want to hear it from men. That side-saddle government suck-ons.
As a thug or a hoodlum, is that the classification or category you'd come in? Proceed.
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
See? That's a man, heterosexual. Probably just picked up somebody's secretary. Been in a few fights. Won some, lost some. That's crazy Joe Gallo. And you want to know what else? He was guilty. What did he do?
You're also known as a racketeer and gangster.
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
What labor organization or union are you now associated with?
I respectfully decline to answer because I honestly believe my answer might tend to incriminate me.
All right, proceed, Mr. Kennedy.
See, now the gangsters are side saddle. Now they're sissies.
You've got universal name ID among Democratic primary voters, highly engaged Democrats, certainly. But the critics say, like, this guy is not moving in the polls, even though everybody knows who he is. He wants to run for president. This is a media deal more than anything else, and you guys give him way too much attention. Why the hell am I here talking to you?
I don't know. Maybe you wanted the pizza.
Besides that.
Okay.
But seriously.
No, so well, here's the thing, Jonathan. One is both Bill Clinton and Barack Obama were exactly where I wouldn't want to be the front runner right now.
Nine-finger Yakuza. Suck on. Bill Clinton, all the Democrat corruption, the liaison between half-assed business, corporatist liaison. In fact, he went to work for a lobbyist. 2 years, made $16 million in payoffs. Never worked a day in his life. And the one time he did, when he was a little boy, got a job in a deli, sawed his finger off, the stupid bastard. That's as best you're going to get to an old-time gangster right there, Rahm Emanuel. But these new gangsters, they're just a disgrace from soup to nuts. However, they've inspired incredible people, men, to come out of the woodwork, and you could always tell who they are. They're never a Democrat, ever.
There was a mom in Ohio during the depth of the coronavirus pandemic, decided to go to her high school football game for her son. They hadn't been out much. The kids had been learning at school, and then the school got shut down. They hadn't really gotten much out of that education. As any parent knew, that remote learning was no learning at all. But it was a Friday night. Her son wanted to go watch a buddy go play football. So they went to the stadium. They sat alone, far from everybody else, just a mom, a dad, a few kids. They didn't feel they needed to wear masks because it was stupid, because they were outside.
And a lie.
They all live together. They're not near anybody. Dr. Fauci, do you know what happened to that mom and that family? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
They were dragged out of that stadium and arrested. Those policies were put in place because you had moronic politicians,
Democrats,
that listened to the words of a megalomaniac who was more interested in having met a Kardashian than the suffering of the American people, and that is you. Your advice to communities like that, to idiotic politicians who enforce those rules, arrested that mom for watching a football game with her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the do you think you were for doing that?
He's a capo in the Fourth Reich mafia of side-saddle sissies. He's a Democrat. And this is the greatest American political scandal since the founding. And every Democrat is an unindicted co-conspirator. Every one of you. But make no mistake, I'm not calling you an actual gangster. You're the pansy, the limp-wristed gangster.
I respectfully decline to answer your questions on the grounds that
my answer may tend to incriminate me.
I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds that my answer may tend to incriminate. My answer may tend to incriminate me. I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds that my answer may tend to incriminate.
All of them guilty. What Fauci and the rest of these suck-on Democrats are, you're just comedians. You're a clown show.
Is it true you were a crack cocaine dealer for 7 years?
I plead the fifth.
Sir, will you tell us about the cartels you dealt with in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
No, but I can tell you that I plead the fifth.
Exactly how much money did you earn in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
There are so many amendments in the Constitution of the United States of America. I can only choose one.
Dr. Fauci.
The Fourth Reich of the repulsives. And that's a capo. 312-642-5600.
Plead the fifth.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
AM 560. The Answer.
The specificity of the issues, we've been covering it for 6 years. Evidence had been revealing itself the entire time. The majority of decent Americans never bought this, any more than they bought the idea that that dimwit thief in diapers received 81 million votes. What is that, 14 million more than Barack? Yes, we can hope and change. At least that silver-tongued devil was telling you a tale of woe in sentences. No one has believed the Democrats in the 21st century that has an IQ over 60 or is not a thief. It's that simple.
Wait, so hold on. So you're telling me that Anthony Fauci, who was already funding virus research in a Chinese lab with U.S. tax dollars, kept a personal diary in which he admitted point blank that COVID fatality rates were far lower than what he eventually told Congress not 3 weeks later? Because this is what he told Congress.
If you count all the cases of minimally symptomatic or asymptomatic infection, that probably brings the mortality rate down to somewhere around 1%, which means it is 10 times more lethal than the seasonal flu.
Do you realize that in just the AIDS scandal that I played in the beginning, 700,000 Americans died? He prevented the medicine that is now having AIDS victims test negative. The Dallas Buyers Club is a great movie talking about how the government in America prevented sick people from getting the proper medication. And then he financed the creation of a bioweapon and released it on the world. And everybody knew this. Peter Navarro clip, not playing. All right.
The accusation that the committee has denied access to the minority to records is categorically false. This is the most transparent investigation in the history of Congress. We actually created a website, and we put all of the information on the website. It continues to operate. The reason it hasn't been accessed is no Democrat ever signed up for it.
Just like to find the investigation of the money that was stolen, not just in the Somalian Mogadishu called Minnesota, but in Medicare or Medicaid. They have not wanted to see because they are unindicted co-conspirators. Every Democrat. Everyone! Including that sissy singing about the vaccine.
Sitting there. That SOB knew for a fact that that virus came from the Wuhan lab. He knew that because he had funded the gain-of-function research in that lab, and he had already begun to design a cover-up. And we know that from the emails he sent to a group of researchers, academics, trying to get their support to push that come from nature theory. And that's the biggest lie of omission in American history. Because if he had simply owned up to the fact that that thing came from the lab, we could have pressured the Chinese to give us the genome sequence, which would have allowed us to design an effective vaccine rather than the crap we wound up getting. And again, Trump got lied to about that, not just by Fauci, but by Pfizer, the drug company.
In what way? You know what else I couldn't help but notice? A quiet little story. Quiet little story that didn't get enough attention, in my opinion. All the settlements that have happened quietly.
Johnson & announced a $5.5 billion payout to settle roughly 76,000 outstanding lawsuits alleging its baby powder and other talc products cause ovarian cancer. In a statement, the company said the claims, quote, lack scientific merit, adding the resolution allows the company to put this matter behind it.
Well, that company paid good money to get where they were. They bribed all the right scum Democrats in government positions.
Another question for you. The NIH continues to refuse to voluntarily divulge the names of scientists who receive royalties and from which companies. Over the period of time from 2010 to 2016, 27,000 royalty payments were paid to 1,800 NIH employees. We know that not because you told us, but because we forced you to tell us through the Freedom of Information Act. Over $193 million was given to these 1,800 employees. Can you tell me that you have not received a royalty from any entity that you ever oversaw the distribution of money in research grants?
Well, first of all, let's talk about royalties.
That's the question. No, that's the question. Have you ever received a royalty payment from a company that you later oversaw money going to that company.
So what?
You know,
that he
I
was the
don't-
highest paid government suck on. $400,000 before taxes. Forensic audit, his net worth. Every fracking dollar. Give him the Rudy Giuliani. See, that's what they really care about. The money and the power. And then, of course, in his case, he got to meet real women. And if you took one look at that wife of his, you'll understand why. Mary, Midway.
Oh, hi, Shaun. Oh, yes, some doctor, during lockdown, all the health clubs were closed. I had a nice habit of going twice a week swimming. It was good for me. It was my routine. 3 months, I couldn't go. But wait, there's more. Finally, it opened. I go, signs everywhere. No one can enter without showing their vaccine card. I'm like you, but I'm so proud of myself. I manipulated the situation thanks to a friend of mine, and they're so stupid. They're like, show it on your phone. I was able to manipulate it. I never got any of those shots, so I got to go. But it's funny. If they're going to lock it down, and shouldn't they give me my $325 back?
Well, the beauty about growing up where I grew up is we all had cards. The only ones of us that ever had the vaccine are the ones with health problems today. See, the vaccine killed more people than COVID. That's the next cover-up. But it will reveal itself, as this has. Mary, this is the beautiful thing. I think I was in 5th grade the first time my principal, Bill Bright, said to me, I did something stupid. I don't know if I punched somebody or threw something. I don't know what I did. He said, you realize you are history right now. You're making history for your family, for your neighborhood, for this school. You're either going to be a solution or you're going to be a franken problem. And it's when it hits you that every day is history. History is being made. And you could argue right now that this is the cold Civil War, and you'd be right. But what you also can argue is that the Democrats are the root of every political scandal for the last 26 years specifically. And this will go down in history 100, 200, 300 years from now. Dr. Fauci, Joe Biden, Schumer, and every rat Democrat congressman and senator will be identified correctly for what they are, traitors to their country. Thank you, Mary. And so's the doctors that went along with it, just like the cops that arrested that lady for not wearing a mask. See, the foot soldier to the repulsive, they're in it for the pensions and the payoffs and the power, just like Fauci. They confess, though, every time they call themselves a Democrat. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Insurance came out about the roof, offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
I was just having this conversation with a client of mine. See, I still work outside of this. I sell real estate. And you have to understand, if you don't pay attention to your costs, they will overtake you. If you just think, I've had insurance, I've had it for years, I'm sure it's the cheapest. Wrong. Call Tommy and TJ, Iaquinta. 708-328-5150. This guy said, I got the same State Farm for many, many years. I said, well, the State Farm is great. Do they do Florida? And if they do, have you made sure it's the best fit for you? Do they do your cars as you're moving from the once great state, now a Democrat example of why you never buy real estate or open a business in Democrat-run areas called Illinois? Did you make certain that there are other companies from Travelers, Nationwide? Are you sure you didn't check? Just call 708-328-5150. And who picks up the phone? Tommy, the father, TJ, the son. Iaquinta. That's the best part about calling Class A Insurance. They pick up the phone. You can go online if you want at 560insurance.com, but I like to talk to people. And I don't want to be put in queue, some fracking tree. Get the hell out of here. I want to talk to somebody. Listen, save me money. The cars, the boats, the motorcycle, the house, the investment property. Tommy and TJ Iaquinta can handle it all. That's why they were named top 25 home insurance agents in Chicagoland. You can't beat it. They built it in Chicagoland when it was proud, when you were proud. Remember, they used to call it the city that works? Not the city that sucks on, the city that works, when there were businesses, insurance, financial, all over. Not to mention the stockyards. Boy, you can go way back. Produce market. Remember South Water Market? Tommy and TJ do. Well, Tommy does. He told TJ about it. TJ's the kid. He's taking over. Class A Insurance, 708-328-5150. Or online at 560insurance.com. Real easy. When we get back, Glenn, you're going to lead us off. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Sunshine and 82 today. Fireworks on Capitol Hill as Dr. Anthony Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment at a morning hearing before a GOP-led Senate panel.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
Chairman Rand Paul once again accused Fauci of funding research that created the COVID-19 virus. As Illinois students return to school this fall, school boards and families will begin discussing and implementing a bell-to-bell cell phone ban signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Students are distracted. Teachers sometimes have trouble getting students' attention. And, of course, the mental health impact that social media and phone usage are having on our kids.
3 Chicago area men are facing felony charges after authorities say they stole and vandalized 5 automated license plate reader cameras in Lisle on Sunday. News, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. You can go to surroundchicago.com today. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, an update on the afternoon commute in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Edens, no troubles to report. The inbound side, though, that's a busy one at 45 minutes. Lake Cook Road to Montrose. Kennedy out 1 hour, downtown to the airport, slowing down in those express lanes, Ogden to Keeler. The outbound Eisenhower 1 hour, post office to 390, accident reported at Independence. Going out on the Stevenson 45 to the Tri-State 1 hour to 355 with a crash right near Joliet Road. That one is blocking the center lane. And then we're seeing delays on the outbound side of the Dan Ryan at 25 minutes. Northbound 57 at Jackknife Semi at Flossmoor. Stop and go from US 30. Gapers delay in the other direction. DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State busy either direction. Reagan 355 and the Jane Addams not too bad. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy sky. The temperature will reach a high of 87. Tomorrow night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance.
What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. AIDS, 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 AIDS. Everyone has AIDS.
He skated through that
scandal,
too.
This is the end of our story. And everyone is dead from AIDS. It took from me my best friend, my only true pal, my only bright star. He died of AIDS. Well, I'm gonna march on Washington, lead the fight and charge the brigades.
Do you know the guy Milk Squirrel that they always talk about? That was his biggest enemy. Did you know that? Fauci. And yet now they love him. And when I say they, I'm not slandering homosexuals by any means. I'm talking about Democrats. Now, if they happen to be side saddle, like Harvey Levin, I get it. But is he stupid? Hey, Harvey, for a guy who's made $1 billion from being a paparazzi, what are you, fracking stupid?
I have not used TMZ's YouTube channel to vent personal feelings about issues, but I'm going to do that today. Watching Anthony Fauci before a congressional hearing taking the Fifth Amendment is just one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in government in my lifetime. And
in your lifetime. Now here's the problem with this, Squirrel. Harvey is an old man. He's an old man. He's seen the scandal of AIDS. He's seen the scandals and the fraud and the corruption from the NIH. And he's on the side of Fauci. I just want to be clear on this. I don't give a if you are a low-life rat Democrat, you are the problem. Today, yesterday, and forever. Glenn, or Oak Creek, Wisconsin. What are you, traveling?
I'd like to be down for that.
Different Glenn. You're a different Glenn. Good. How are you, Glenn?
I'm good. Hey, not a sob story or anything, but back in May of 23, I had mentioned to you as a teen I had this Guillain-Barré syndrome, so I had never gotten the injection, which is good. I don't even get flu shots because of it. Well, anyway, I was supposed to get a hip replacement, and they put me on standby for, almost 2 months because of the COVID. So anyway, I go to call. My dad lives over in Michigan. My stepmom, too. Called the Sunday night before I was supposed to get the operation because I was close with her. And my dad answers the phone. I go, what the heck? Why are you answering? Well, my stepmom died of a brain aneurysm at 68, just out of the blue. They both got the injection. Knock on wood, my dad is 82 and doing great. And it's just one of those things that there was a delay for my surgery. I was almost going to be in a wheelchair if they didn't get me in there. And then my mom passes away. My stepbrother lives there, and it cracks me up. He's kind of like a conspiracy theorist, sort of, not really. He just sends me goofy stuff. And there's a number of people in our little county up north of Muskegon that have passed away for no apparent reason, and he keeps telling me about it. And it's no.
I'm gonna tell you something. This thing where they say and they try to discount people, right? And I'm not saying you. I'm talking about when you hear Democrats, right? Conspiracy theorists. We have beyond the shadow of a doubt the evidence that so many of these political scandals are conspiracies. Conspiracies concocted from the powers that are controlling our politics in Washington, D.C. I mean, Glenn, I could go back to the Federal Reserve as a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. Jekyll Island, the people who created it, who owns it, how it was started, Woodrow Wilson, World War I. So they discount all of that because they're like the Democrats of today. I don't even want to look at it. Let me just go about my daily business and not even look at it. It's a funny thing you said about that. How do you pronounce that word I always get stuck on? Keep in mind I'm from Melrose Park. Guillain-Barré, is that how you say it?
Oh, the thing I have?
Yeah.
GBS, it's Guillain-Barré syndrome. Gillian.
Did you ever...
Two French guys that found it.
Did you ever see, it's a long time ago, back when 60 Minutes was good, the expose they did, I think it was 1976, on the swine flu vaccine? Did you ever see it?
Swine flu, yep. That was where there was a big rash of it. I got it just because I had flu. I didn't get it from that. But sure, I heard that people that get the injection for the COVID thing, that there has been some of those on top of the heart thing.
Since the American pharmaceutical industry has grown into the Leviathan it is, and the corruption with the Rockefellers and the oil-based medication, this has been an ongoing scandal. I appreciate, Glenn, thank you so much and for calling, and number one, calling, and number two, thank you for reminding me about that story, because I happen to have a clip that I had for a couple weeks now, honey bunny. I sent it to you. I knew there would be an opportunity to remind people, in conjunction with government, the pharmaceutical company is more interested in keeping you sick than curing you, and they always have been. That's why they pay dividends.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Bonds, and here's a look at what's happening tonight. And what's happening is that the swine flu vaccination program ground to a halt from coast to coast today.
What?
Remember the swine flu scare of 1976? That was the year the U.S. government told us all that swine flu could turn out to be a killer that could spread across the nation. And Washington decided that every man, woman, and child in the nation should get a shot to prevent a nationwide outbreak, a pandemic.
Now, keep in mind, Fauci is working there now. He got the job in 1968. He's working there when this scandal broke in 1976. Is that a conspiracy theory? Or is he just a crooked thief, pig, rat-faced fraud?
The whole program ground to a halt. There wasn't even a single case of swine flu.
You began to give flu shots to the American people in October of 76.
October 1st.
By that time, how many cases of swine flu around the world had been reported?
There had been several reported, but none confirmed. There were cases in...
None confirmed. Did you ever uncover any other outbreaks of swine flu anywhere in the world?
No.
There was never an epidemic of swine flu, and why it was that the world's most powerful man, with the world's most powerful Department of Health, got it so wrong, we will never know.
Huh.
But it's important to realize that he did get it wrong, and that the authorities did get it wrong.
There have been now 12 reported deaths so far, with victims dying just a few hours after receiving those inoculative shots. All of the victims were elderly persons, and all, we are told, died of apparent heart attacks.
Huh.
Well, 46 million of us obediently took the shot. And now 4,000 Americans are claiming damages from Uncle Sam amounting to $3.5 billion because of what happened when they took that shot. By far the greatest number of the claims, 2/3 of them, are for neurological damage or even death, allegedly triggered by the flu shot.
In the state of Michigan, the state health director, Maurice Risen, ordered a stop to all swine flu shots after 3 Michigan men died hours after receiving their vaccinations. Health officials estimate that 10,000 Michigan people have already received their shots, and President Gerald Ford told ABC Television News tonight that he intends to get his vaccination.
More things change. More they don't. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Raj Shah, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
You know, there are a lot of clients and people coming in from the radio into our office saying, I don't want to lose any money. I need to protect the money I have saved over the last 20 or 30 years, where you have strategies where you can structure an income stream where it has an inflation protection so that as inflation, if it continues to go up, your income will go up.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Have you seen videos of Russian floating folk dancers?
Floating Russian Huziwatsits?
They wear long dresses so you can't see their feet, so it looks like they're gliding on air.
I've seen those videos. Impressive.
That reminds me of the dining chairs with the Brody table.
The Brody table is my favorite table at Penny Mustard.
You know, the unique design kind of resembles one of those Russian dancers.
You're right.
And check out these upholstered caster dining chairs.
I don't see any casters.
Precisely. It looks like the chair is gliding on air. Here, I'll show you. I can glide over here.
Ooh, nice.
And I can glide over there.
Be careful.
And I can...
Watch out!
I never was a very good dancer.
The Brody table, paired with 4 caster dining chairs, starting at $64.22 at Penny Mustard.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
AM 560, The Answer.
The head of NIH in 1976 was a scumbag quack by the name of Dr. Donald Fredrickson. Another moron who's too lazy, too untalented to become a veterinarian. Same scandal. I wonder if they were paying more or less bribes than they paid Pickleface.
And President Ford was going to vaccinate the entire population of America, every man, woman and child, black, white and brindle, against a particular type of flu called swine flu. because he'd been advised that there was going to be a huge epidemic that would kill thousands of people.
This virus was the cause of a pandemic in 1918 and 1919 that resulted in over 500,000 deaths in the United States.
Now, people were dropping dead in the buildings where they received their shots. Many others became paralyzed.
One of those who did roll up her sleeve was Judy Roberts. She was perfectly healthy, an active woman, when in November of 1976, she took her shot. 2 weeks later, she says, she began to feel a numbness starting up her legs.
I joked about it at that time. I said I'll be numb to the knees by Friday if this keeps up. By the following week, I was totally paralyzed.
So completely paralyzed, in fact, that they had to operate on her to enable her to breathe. And for 6 months, Judy Roberts was a quadriplegic. The diagnosis? A neurological disorder called Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS for short.
Let that breathe a little bit, as the government has been poisoning people for years, decades, generations. I can't help but notice a constant. Pickle face, 1968. George, Naperville.
Yes, Shaun, do you think the Fauci diaries are the new Valachi papers?
I can't decide if I'm more excited about the idea that if he goes to hell and I don't quite make it past the pearly gates, I get to kick his ass 24 hours a day for eternity or not. Dave Barrington.
Hey, Shaun, love your show.
Thank you.
You're reading my mind today. It's on a lot of people's mind. When is there going to be any accountability for
in this life
and any convictions?
Dave, if you're in a Democrat area, I've got a story about a scumbag on PCP that crashed his car into two people waiting in a bus stop. You could find it on CWB today. And this low-life, useless piece of dung. The woman lost both legs below the knee, and the guy broke his hip, his leg, his pelvis, all kinds of stuff. And they'll never be the same. And the Democrat judge in Crooked County is going to let him out in 7 months. So you tell me how you get justice when there's people like this in charge. You get justice in the next life.
Well,
because then there's guys like me who never die and never sleep, and I beat them forever. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Look,
me and my ex.
If it ever gets to the road, I got one for Fauci. If he's in with the jury, they find him guilty. Maybe they could use something like lethal injection as an option for him.
Dave, justice we get in the next life, brother. Always. Thank you very much. You don't get it here unless you're in Florida. We killed 2 of them yesterday, right, Squirrel? Did we kill 2 of them yesterday? 2 scum?
Right now, Florida is carrying out the execution of 80-year-old Dominic Occhione, convicted of murder in 1986.
It is the second execution Florida has carried out today.
Excellent. That's where you get justice. You ain't going to get it around those rat thieves. The mafia are the politicians. Deborah, Arlington Heights.
Hey, Shaun, I'm one of the people that got the swine flu vaccine in the 70s. I went and stood in line at Randhurst and got it, and in Mount Prospect. And, not to my knowledge, nothing has happened. But then I was really mad because they pulled it because a lot of people were getting that Guillain-Barré syndrome. Then I'm like, great.
You know, maybe you're lucky, like the people who were forced to get this one, and maybe you got the placebo. After all, they weren't really going to spend all the money it was for all vaccines. Maybe you got lucky and you just got water. Thank you, Deborah. I'm glad you made it. Paul and Gurney.
Shaun!
Yes, baby.
Hey, I am fired up. I've been listening to that rat bastard lie for how many years?
6.
I thought that stupid sickness, which was not a virus, it was a weapon used against us, and he knew what we were getting into. He covered it up and said it was what? From a bat? Really? No. I never have been sick in my life. I got it twice, and I got the vaccine, and that made me even sicker. And to hear that guy, even though it's his right to plead the fifth, it made me sick.
Me too, Paul. Me too.
I saw that video, Julia Roberts, and that fraud said,
Come on.
"Oh, gee, golly, Mr. Dr. Fauci, oh, what an honor! You're a
Here's what I
hero.
want you to. I understand. I want you to take. I want you to take pleasure. And Julia Roberts would be nothing if it wasn't for Eric. She has no talent. She just has long legs. Without the legs, she's nothing. 312-642. Oh, we have a guest. We got a guest coming up. If I didn't get to you, I apologize. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Is the IRS throwing high heat like bank levies and wage garnishments and tax liens?
Play ball!
Are you down to your last strike?
Strike two!
When the IRS brings in their closer, you don't bunt. You bring in a power hitter.
That ball is out of here!
At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we go to bat against the IRS. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Don't let the IRS steal your paycheck, and don't let them tag your bank account out at home plate. This isn't Little League. This is your financial future. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, and a full count. Are you swinging alone, or are you going to call in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now at 630-415-5296. Once again, 630-415-5296, or just Google, "I want the IRS off my ASS."
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Imagine getting this kind of news. Karen Collins was in her 20s. She was newly married, and then her husband, Michael, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
And he told me, and I just cried because I didn't really know what the plan was.
There was another fear, too, the medical bills. And thankfully, they were members of Medishare, and Medishare came through for them, and not just financially.
But they called and they said, "Hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you." And it rocked my world. And every time they called, it was like, "How can we pray for you right now? How are you doing today?"
Medishare was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Yes, Medishare can save you a lot of money. But as Karen and Michael discovered, it's also about knowing you're not going through life's hardest moments alone. Call now. See why so many people have made the switch to Medishare. Here's the number. It's 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Exactly the right guy to talk to. You see, my next guest worked with Dr. Peter McCullough and was the primary author of their best-selling book, The Courage to Face COVID-19. He's the author of a new book called Mind Viruses, America's Irrational Obsessions. John Leake, who is a pleasure to talk to, from author to filmmaker, journalist, investigative. Great guy. John will join us after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, a hazy, sunny high of 82 today. At least 18 have now been confirmed dead in Tuesday's major earthquake in Japan. Several buildings have collapsed, including a shopping mall.
Shortly after the tremor, there were also reports of an explosion at the shopping mall, possibly linked to a gas leak. Officials said the second floor section of the mall had also collapsed.
There is bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for a sanctions bill sponsored by the late Senator Lindsey Graham. The bill would double the amount of tariffs on countries continuing to buy Russian oil and gas. In Chicago, 11 were shot, including 2 who were killed. 1 person was seriously stabbed in separate incidents across Chicago between late Tuesday evening and early Wednesday morning.
Mayor Brandon Johnson circulating petitions to run for mayor in spite of not having officially said he's running, but he's sounding a lot more like a candidate.
There are a number of individuals that are eager to continue the progress that we've made over the course of my first 3.5 years.
Yankees and White Sox wrap up their series tonight while the Cubs are in St. Louis. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. You can join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks plunging with the Dow suffering its worst day of the year and the Nasdaq lower for a 6th straight session and teetering in correction territory after the Fed holds its benchmark interest rate steady at a range of 3.5% to 3.75%. 3 dissenters were in favor of a 1/4-point interest rate hike. Oil's gushing on escalating Middle East tensions, which is raising inflation concerns, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling over $84 a barrel. The Dow down 1,153 points. The Nasdaq lower by 434. S&P 500 down 113. Shares of Meta Platforms are falling in late trading. The social media giant delivered an earnings miss, but reported record revenue for the second quarter. Shares of Microsoft are spiking after hours. The software giant posting robust fourth quarter results, with its revenue growing about 18% year over year. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
When it comes to supplements, 2 things matter most. A, that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Joni shared that before Relief Factor, her husband couldn't open his hands in the morning and had to give up playing the guitar. Now he wakes up with flexibility, and he's back to playing music. They are both recommending Relief Factor to friends as a way to enjoy the things they love again. I get what Joni's husband went through. I couldn't paint. I couldn't button my own shirts in the morning. The pain made it so difficult to hold a paintbrush or button my shirts. It was horrible. And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
How many times are you going to walk into that outdated bathroom and think, I really need a bathroom makeover? Stop putting it off and transform your bathroom and your life in as little as 1 day with a beautiful, affordable shower makeover from Jacuzzi Bath Remodel. Choose from custom designs tailored to your budget and style, including safety-focused features for beauty and peace of mind.
I've had a great experience from start to finish. The crew that came in, they were so professional. This looks like a marble, beautiful, new shower, and it was done all in 1 day.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-384-3318. That's 800-384-3318. Call 800-384-3318. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Charge from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for details.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Kennedy, to get from the Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare, that's an hour. Outbound Edens, 15 out to Lake Cook Road. Accident reported inbound Eisenhower at 25th Avenue, hour and 20 in from 390 back out, hour and 5. Another accident reported northbound 55 at Route 53. Watch out for a stall inbound Stevenson at 355, hour and 5 inbound, and it's an hour out to 355 right near Joliet Road, a crash in the center lane. I-57 northbound jackknife semi still at Flossmoor, stop and go from US 30 with that crash. Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive heavy either direction. Jane Addams Reagan at 355 though, not too bad. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy atmosphere. The high will reach 87 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and
My next guest is the perfect guest for the perfect day. I've had the pleasure of talking to him a couple of times before, but I so appreciate all that he has done. Best-selling nonfiction author, investigative journalist, filmmaker, known for his work in the medical industry, forensic science, and true crime. He worked with Dr. Peter McCullough and was the primary author of their best-selling book, The Courage to Face COVID-19. And to this day, he is the vice president of the McCullough Foundation and co-authors daily Focal Point newsletter with Dr. McCullough. But more importantly, he is the author of a new book that we must go out and get, Mind Viruses, America's Irrational Obsessions. John Leake, how are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Well, I think it's the perfect timing to have you on, because the way that I see this, I'm always reminded of the old-time gangsters after Prohibition. I take the fifth. It was absolutely a confession to me, but I think, therefore, I am. And what we've stumbled on is not just the scandal that is the biggest of the 21st century. Dr. Fauci, the NIH, has been linked to the medical scandals since really the inception of the Rockefeller Foundation, haven't they?
Well, they have. It's funny. I just went back and reread a novel that was published in 1925 by Sinclair Lewis called Aerosmith. And it's about a doctor who finds himself, and this is explicitly referenced in the book, with the Rockefeller Foundation taking over medicine, the Flexner Report. This doctor finds himself kind of in a battle between his conscience and this rise of kind of robber baron takeover of these burgeoning federal health agencies. And you realize there's nothing new under the sun. This is actually a pretty old story. But in the case of Anthony Fauci, what I think is interesting about it, the thing that immediately jumps out at me, by the way, can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, cool. The documentary evidence is sufficient. Regardless of anything he says or doesn't say in a congressional hearing, the documentary evidence of malfeasance, of fraudulent concealment, and I even think the evidentiary standard rises to mass negligent homicide. Where is Attorney General Todd Blanche? This should be a matter for the Justice Department, a criminal prosecution. And, pleading the fifth is normally something you do to avoid criminal prosecution or incriminating yourself in a criminal prosecution. So, we get these congressional hearings. I'm a big fan of Ron Johnson and Senator Rand Paul. I've met both men. I really like them. They're both consummate gentlemen, by the way. But this is really, in my opinion, not that they want it to be that way, but it's kind of a distraction from the documentary evidence.
So, yeah, absolutely. But well, it isn't. I agree, but I also think it's a good footnote. And it's a very interesting thing about Todd Blanche. I'm a big fan. And what happened that's very interesting is that Colburn, a senator, I believe, out of Texas, he refused to meet with Todd Blanche, and he needs that vote to get the job full time. And if you think about what he's done in the short time he's been in charge, I think he's been really successful when you talk about cartels and Medicare fraudsters and the rest of it. But for him to get that job, he needs the never Trumpers. And it's a very interesting reality we face. And you go back to the Rockefeller Foundation, you go back to the government becoming the Leviathan of corruption that it is. And there's always this duopoly that takes place, right? Most of the time it's this party, but some of the times it's the other party. What I love about this particular scandal is it is the new supporter of an unlikely guy, a guy who never ran for dog catcher. And it's what we lived through the rise of the Fourth Reich, the repulsives, and the scandals that have occurred in the last 18 years, specifically to Obama. And I don't just mean the $30 trillion that has been used to bail out all the blue areas. But the scandal now, the undeniable reality, there is an entire political party that refuses to look at all of the evidence you have been producing since it began. All of the evidence that we now know is brought out, I plead the fifth and the rest of it. And he also was given a blanket pardon. And that is another admission. So to me, we can't ever seek justice instantaneously. Microwave justice doesn't exist. But what this means for history, and when these kids pick up your books and your work and McCullough's work and all of the things that we went through, this will go down as American Dark Ages. And the scandal will be described for the next 1,000 years if this country should last that long. I really believe that.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I know from studying history that it oftentimes takes much longer than the initial observers, the initial people who are chronicling this stuff. It oftentimes takes a lot longer for the general public to finally wake up and to realize, what has happened. I mean, it might take 10 years, it might take 30 years, or it might take a few hundred years. But I hope that even if I'm not around to see the full truth elucidated and generally recognized, I mean, I hope it will eventually happen. But, I won't linger on this too long, but the documentary evidence of Fauci's criminal malfeasance, it's pretty thick. Today I gave a talk to some people with this Maha group, and I'll repeat what I told them. I would like to draw attention to a particular paper that was published in 2022 by a prominent virology journal called Frontiers in Virology. A group of molecular biologists and biostatisticians got together, and they thought this particular genetic sequence that is part of the genome of SARS-CoV-2, that's the virus that causes the COVID-19 syndrome. They marveled at this so-called furin cleavage site. It's the part of the spike protein that enables this virus to dock onto a human epithelial respiratory tract cell and to infect humans. And they were particularly interested in a 12 nucleotide sequence that just doesn't look like something that comes out of nature. We don't see this in beta coronaviruses. And they thought, this is such a marvelous genetic sequence, this 12 nucleotide sequence. Has anyone ever patented this? It may come as a surprise to your audience that genetic sequences that are made in a laboratory, because they're unnatural, pharmaceutical companies, researchers can actually patent them for research purposes. So they do what's called a blast search. They look at a genetic sequence database, and they get a perfect hit on a 19 nucleotide sequence that overlaps perfectly this 12 nucleotide sequence that was patented by Moderna, the messenger RNA vaccine manufacturer in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in 2016. So how did this key component of the SARS-CoV-2 genome Why was it patented by Moderna in 2016? And literally no one has even tried to answer this question. Strangely enough, Maria Bartiromo at Fox Business, she asked the CEO of Moderna, Stefan Bancel, Stefan, how do you explain this? And he said, well, I'll have my scientists look into it. But there was no follow-up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's smoking gun physical evidence, but somehow Congress and the president, and just no one kind of quite seems to see it. Why is that?
Well, because what you have described is the absolute and total evidence that this is a bioweapon that was created by man, that was weaponized and released on the world. And the people who profited most from it, are the very ones who created it. And it was financed by the American government. So the evidence is there. So whether we discover this and the evidence is so overwhelming that they cannot discount me and you or censor us the way we've been censored or write us off to where the future will say this Fauci, the American government, in conjunction with corrupt corporatists who have pharmaceutical companies and who trace back to the idea that they've always wanted, which was population control. I mean, since the dawn of this all, these are all people who believe in eugenics. They think the problem is population. And they've released a weapon, and they are the greatest mass murderers since Mao Zedong. That's undeniable. And all we need is the rest of everybody to catch up. And you've been working on this diligently. And this, what you've just said, is evidence you cannot discount. It cannot be discounted. And that's called the Chicago Shuffle, by the way. Oh, yeah, we created that long ago. I'll get back to you. My people will check on it. We'll get right back to you. That's how it works. And it buys off the morons, right? Because this is the other thing that I'm assuming is the basis of your book, Mind Virus. The problem with people is they can adapt lower, and they can adapt a lower standard of living. They can adapt lower information and to a lower IQ far easier than they can demand a higher standard, can't they?
Well, I'm glad that you brought it back to my general theme. A mind virus, it's a sort of a metaphor for an irrational idea that just doesn't stand up to even elementary common sense, that in an atmosphere of fear and propaganda will not only be embraced by otherwise reasonable adults, but actually spread like a sort of contagion. Humans are very imitative. We're hypersocial. In order to ascertain what's going on in the world, we tend to look at what other people are thinking. And so we have this weird phenomenon in which a stark raving lunatic idea will start to circulate and gain currency. And then you get a critical mass of people who believe it. And then at that point, it's very hard to undo the brainwashing. And these things can, within a pressure atmosphere of fear of a sort of a boogeyman. It could be terrorism. It could be climate change. It could be racism. It could be COVID-19. I mean, we've just seen one boogeyman after another emerge over the last 25 years. And every time we're told, be terrified, that's component one. Everyone needs to just have the living daylight scared out of them. And then secondly, however, the central government and its cronies in various industries, can provide a countermeasure to defeat the boogeyman. It's just going to require hundreds of billions of dollars of public money, of federal money, in order to do it. So we have this enormous transfer of wealth from the public purse to whoever has apparently positioned himself to vanquish the boogeyman, and we just go along with it. And, you've probably noticed this, like the moment that a fairly large number of people start to wise up and realize that we've been hoodwinked, well, we don't really have time to discuss it because yet another crisis is upon us. So I document this with the book, how we just go from one crisis to the next, all of which is happening within the context of runaway federal debt. Congress has thrown in the towel. Both parties have thrown in the towel on any kind of fiscal restraint. And so, a crisis now has become a good thing. Let's have something terrifying, and, we can just, at the stroke of a keyboard, create trillions of dollars and shovel it off into the accounts of whoever it is that's well-positioned to deal with this thing, or apparently so. So we just get one crisis after the next.
Well,
what my book does, it shows the connective tissue. It's always the same. The face changes, but the script remains the same.
That's why I loved, when I first really started to get into I was lucky enough to live through the Cold War. And I had a friend of mine who is a descendant of Cubans. And you start to learn as a kid about this ideology that casts people into servitude. And why would anybody give up their own freedom? And fear, obligation, and guilt are the tenets of Karl Marx, right, in the Communist Manifesto. But if you really go back, Machiavelli used the same thing. You could go back to the Vatican. You go back to religion. It's amazing how you can manipulate people if they're afraid, how much they'll give up. Not just their own common sense, but their own freedom, their own liberty, and how we've passed the major tenets to backdoor nationalize our lives in America. They've been doing this to us since early 20th century. And that's where they've perfected it. And Barack Obama and this modern Chicago mafia Democrats, they perfected it because it's buckshot now. And that's what you're describing. Buckshot. It's one to the next, to the next, to the next. And you got to do this, and you got to do that. And before you know it, these imbeciles who never worked a day in their life are telling people who own businesses what to pay the people who work for them. That's how it works, right?
Well, it's true, and it's true that the Democrats are always serving us up the most just totally insane, retarded stuff. Yeah. But I don't really see evidence that the Republicans are doing much to put the brakes on it. When it comes to these big things, whether it be biopharmaceutical stuff or this endless series of wars abroad or bailing out Wall Street or whatever it is, it seems to me that both parties, with the exception, I'm a big fan. Like I said, I like Ron Johnson and I like Thomas Massie and I like Rand Paul, but they're kind of the exception to the Republicans. I sometimes feel like we're given the impression of genuine, sincere, searching debate between these two parties. But, what is it about this big, powerful complex in Washington that he never seems to really be accountable? We have congressional hearings. The elections bounce back and forth, but business kind of seems to go on unabated. And there doesn't really seem to be, just to give you an example, so this gender bender stuff, this so-called epidemic of gender dysphoria. Well, for sure, Obamacare, by making insurance payments for so-called gender-affirming care, that ushered this in, that sort of midwife this madness in. But, it wasn't until Ken Paxton in Texas and a couple of brave AGs on the state level that anything was done about it. It's madness.
It's money.
Go ahead.
It's money. This is the thing that people, people lose sight of it, but to me, it's something that really you need to have the perspective of. The idea that this country, $30 trillion in 18 years, it took 236 years to get to $9 trillion, just under. And
I'm glad that you point this out. This is one of those facts that I really linger on in the book. It's just astonishing.
Well, the difference between a Republican and a Democrat in Illinois is how much it takes to bribe them. Money. It's money. And we open the door. Who opens the doors for unlimited money? Look at these scoundrels that never worked a day in their fracking life. They never pay taxes on the coffer. It's all legitimate. They've legitimized political bribery. And this notion that we just funnel into it, this is why I'm telling you the cold civil war gets hotter every day. But ultimately, I believe in the principles of what this country is, and I believe that people can secede peacefully if motivated properly. And that's what the good people have to do. We are the majority in this country. And when I say we, people who know right from wrong. That's what Trump really represents. And I came to like him. I did not like him for his collusion and cooperation for years with the mafia, with Democrat mafia, for right there in Chicago, New York, California, pick it. But what he did is I underestimated his love and patriotism for what the principles of the country are. That's who support Donald Trump. The Republicans are the Bush Republicans. They just want in on the scam. How did that sissy old man Bush become an oil man? You really think that the CIA didn't hand them the oil fields after they seized it from some sucker and made all the contracts? This all leads back to power and money, and there's never been more of it floating around. And look at what COVID did. You bailed out all of these Democrat dungholes that were bankrupt. You splashed the pot with trillions that they're just starting to figure out. And it's all because of what you titled your book, not the other one about So
it's true. In terms of partisan politics, I try to frame this within the context of a much bigger historic sweep. You referred to the church, the Reformation, and the Counter-Reformation. This metaphor of mind viruses, it actually has a lineage. I go back to the writings of a Swiss psychiatrist named Carl Jung, who wrote about what he called psychic epidemics. That is basically the same definition, a deeply irrational, destructive, ruinous idea that seems to catch on like a contagion. He was actually thinking, amongst other things, of these dreadful witch trials in 16th century Switzerland, where like every single woman in a village who had not borne children would be burned as being a witch. And, he asked, how did this idea that we need to burn all of our women, how did that catch on where deacons of colleges and magistrates and judges and, you name it, are actually going along with this madness?
Mind virus.
And so or he called it a psychic epidemic. I'm using the modern American parlance of a mind virus. How does this possibly come about? And Jung and other analysts, identified fear and stress. This you put human beings in a state of stress, anxiety, fear, and we kind of revert back to a sort of archaic, prehistoric, small tribal being that is constantly threatened by the natural environment. The thing that we modern people need to recognize is, we're not on the veldt. We're not in a cave with saber-toothed tigers or whatever trying to kill us. We actually have multiple layers of security.
Yes.
Starting with food security. And, so every time the government comes along and says we need to be terrified, I show in the book, take a big step back and take a deep breath. You're probably being lied to.
The name of the book is Mind Viruses. John Lake, you know what else wasn't in those caves? Transvestites. I can't thank you enough for making time for me. I'm up against the clock. I could talk to you for an hour. I so appreciate it. I cannot wait to get the book Mind Viruses. Where's the best place to get it?
Amazon. Everybody, get this book. It will immunize your minds against the next mind virus unleashed. And believe me, it's coming. Buy it on Amazon.
You're talking to the right audience, John Lake. Thank you so much for always making time. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Shaun. I always love it. Talk to you later.
All right. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
This is Captain Baker from the Sheriff's Office.
Hello, officer.
We have a report of missing employees at Hasselus Mattress.
That's right.
You're confessing?
Yes, I'm confessing that Hassellus mattress showrooms are employee-free.
Come again?
Shop for Beautyrest and Sealy Posturepedic without commission-crazy salespeople breathing down your neck.
Sounds suspicious.
That's how we keep our prices way low.
How low?
Others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beautyrest Queen Elm Cove A mattress for $1,599, but Hassellus has it for just $794. Plus, similar savings on Sealy Posturepedic and more.
That's criminally low.
And through Monday, trade in your old mattress and take $248 off a queen and $348 off a king.
You wouldn't lie to a cop, would you?
Free next day delivery, too.
Dispatch, I need a police escort for a Hassellus mattress delivery truck to my house.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died, yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
It's news, opinion, and insight at the speed of your life. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app, or tell your smart speaker to play The Answer Chicago.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, we see a crystal clear sky for tonight and a low of 63. This morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment at a hearing before a GOP-led Senate panel on the COVID-19 pandemic. Fauci calling Kentucky Senator Rand Paul unhinged.
You were not a detached observer. You had an institutional interest in the public believing that federally funded research had nothing to do with the pandemic. It was a conflict of interest from the very beginning.
Mayor Brandon Johnson at Chicago City Hall signing a new executive order strengthening the Chicago procurement process and standard for firearms. That also goes for firearm accessories and ammunition. And another new name set to run for mayor of Chicago, John Kelly.
The number one thing I have is a fire in the belly to do this job, because the mayor's job is an extremely difficult job.
In anticipation of his campaign, Kelly on WGN said he had deregistered as a lobbyist. Chicago sports, day one of Bears training camp, Yankees and White Sox, Cubs and Cardinals. And the news, a service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Your next news comes your way at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, an update on the evening commute. Here's Jill Urchek.
Good afternoon. There is an accident reported on the inbound Edens at Peterson, 48 minutes, and outbound trip not bad. On the Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, 50 minutes. Accident reported inbound Eisenhower near 25th, hour and a half in. The reverse is an hour and 10. Crash reported northbound 55 at Route 53. Outbound Stevenson accident near Joliet Road blocking the center lane. Hour to 3:55, and it's a half hour outbound Ryan. Northbound 57 at Flossmoor, jackknife semi still there, slowing from US 30. Very heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in the Tri-State either way. Southbound crash at the Eisenhower in the left lane. Westbound Reagan, an accident in the right lane at Route 53. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy sky. The temperature will reach a high of 87. Tomorrow night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In Lake County, regular no lead is $3.84 a gallon at the Sam's Club in Gurnee. $3.86 a gallon at the Murphy USA on Route 83 in Round Lake Beach, and $3.89 a gallon at the Love's Travel Stop in Wadsworth.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day, it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive. Control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98, or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY, or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Squirrel, I turned off Microsoft NBC in Studio Xanadu. Because that creepy bastard, Bill Gates, made a lot of money, didn't he?
To cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. An epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
There will be a surprise.
That was 2017. Rarely do you get to hear from somebody who is a benefactor and a beneficiary of a bioweapon. Mark Rochelle.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to your interview that the mind virus is nothing new. It started with the printing press. It worked its way up through newspapers, radio, TV, internet, and they've just supercharged their ability to broadcast anger and fear to control people by putting it in the palm of our hands, literally, and can reach out and touch us all. And if you watch kids nowadays, if they're without their phone, they don't know what to do. It's like it's literally infectious, like you described.
You know how stupid I was, Mark?
Ahead.
Really? You know how stupid I was? I love the whole story of America. I love the idea that it came from the Enlightenment. Whether you want to talk about Newton or Isaac, whatever it is, or Locke, it's fascinating to me how much opportunity was there for it to be good. And I still believe it is, right? Good people seek good solutions. But to your point, the problem is it'll also induce fear, voluntary slavery among morons. It'll stoke the degenerates, and the true face of greed is never a man that wants to keep his money. That's the Enlightenment. It's the scumbag that wants to take it away and figures there's a legitimate way to do it if government does it. So it's a very interesting argument. Did it help or did it hurt? I guess it depends who's holding it, right?
Yes, very much so. And
see, I still think there's more of us than them. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard about this cerebral prison that they're developing that actually will insert memories so that someone will think they've been in prison for years. So that
I saw that movie. Didn't it have Sylvester Stallone and the guy who didn't pay his taxes? Wasn't that Demolition Man? I love that movie. You know, Mark, I also think that I'm a big fan of AI, and I'll tell you why. If the intelligence, if the I stands for intelligence, even if it's artificial, it will absolutely never endorse a Democrat. Thank you very much, Mark. Terry!
Hey, Shaun, about your previous guest, Aristotle said, even in the mind of the wisest man is a foolish corner. And when he was talking about fear, I recommend he talk to the families of the policemen and firemen that ran into the Twin Towers on 9/11 and the Pentagon. There's some people that conquer fear, and they usually end up in the military cemetery. Third thing is respect is earned, it's not given. What I wanted to originally say about Fauci is, in a bureaucracy, if you rock the boat, you get tossed overboard. Also, in a bureaucracy, it's an escalator. These people are rule book commandos. They know the rules, they don't know the job, and not one of them loses a pension.
Yeah, but you're hard-pressed to find somebody who's been linked to these scandals since the late 60s, other than this
they know
rat
who butters their bread, that's all.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing. To me, it was an absolute confession what he did today. An absolute confession. And you know what? I don't give a rip. I don't give a rip what these Democrats think. Thank you very much. I mean, the stupidity of them all, just disgraceful. Even the ones that are trying to rebuild themselves. I always thought this Cuomo was a tool, fraud. I thought his father was a scumbag. I even think his grandfather. He comes from a multi-line of scumbags.
Dr. Atlas, okay, a guy with no pandemic experience. He literally would know more if he stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
As opposed to Fauci? Who are the happy Fauci patients? You know what's funny, too, about Cuomo? You're another whore. You're another $2 whore wannabe gangster. Weren't you the one that faked the vaccine? You faked the illness, working out at home. Another scumbag. Boy, oh boy, Squirrel. I miss the days when these gangsters were men.
The witness, please tell me if he's acquainted with Mr. James Hoffa. I respectfully decline to answer the question upon the ground that the answer may tend to incriminate me.
That's Johnny Deal, brother.
Are you acquainted with Mr. John J. O'Rourke? I respectfully decline to answer the question upon the ground that the answer may tend to incriminate me.
And when Fauci gets to hell, he's going to have to deal with the real gangsters. Shaun, Darian.
Yeah, Shaun, I think that I have a brother-in-law that owns a pet crematory, and I think it'd be a good idea we send him straight to hell now, not tomorrow, not 6 months now.
You know what's great about a guy like this? Did you look at any of the ridiculous thing called his diary, which apparently he had a staff that helped him put it together? The idea that he was just wallowing in his celebrity and the people that love him. He knows right now, from what he faced today, from what an asshat he looks like. He knows what he is, and he knows that from this day till his last, every American with an IQ over 60, everybody who is not a scumbag, knows what he is today. From you to me to Squirrel to the countless people that right now are repulsed at what he did. And that is hell on earth for a scumbag like this. Believe me when I tell you, for the rest of his days on this planet and the next, he'll suffer every minute of every day. Thank you very much for the call. That's the reality of things. There is no one that can look at this of decent character. No one that doesn't know exactly what this piece of dung is and what he's always done.
What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
That's the beauty about not being a scumbag. You can never do what they do to themselves. You can never do it. Nobody could do to Fauci's reputation what he did to himself. Just like the heroin degenerate laying on a street right now. You can't do that to him. Only he can do it to him. And he's a Democrat. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, healthcare, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
GC Aluminum Incorporated seeks assistant project manager in Chicago, Illinois. Support planning, coordination, and execution of construction and business development projects. Assist with project plans and schedules, resource coordination, budgeting, expenditures, quality control, project documentation, vendor management, and business development. Coordinate with project managers, construction teams, clients, and international suppliers in Vietnam, Cambodia, and China. Requires master's degree in project management, industrial engineering, civil engineering, or related field. Must be proficient in written and spoken Chinese. Knowledge of AutoCAD or equivalent tools required. Travel to trade shows and supplier meetings up to 8 times a year or more. 40 hours per week, $119,954 to $130,000 per year. Send resume to reference number 001, HR Director, GC Aluminum Incorporated, 1731 Adrian Road, Unit 2, Burlingame, California, 94010.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
Insurance came out about the roof. Offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Do 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 do. Dr. Fauci.
God, your grandfather's testicles hurt, whether he's in heaven or hell. Mark, Liberty Hill, Texas.
Hey, good evening, Shaun. How are you?
Good, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, I'm not doing well because here's another example. Shaun, let me ask you, I could go through the list. Your audience probably knows, you know, of all these degenerates from Comey to Strzok to Page. When is it to this clown that literally killed over 1 million Americans? Is anything going to be done to this guy? Anything?
I firmly believe this, Mark. I don't think has anybody done to anybody aside from decent areas that harm people or hurt people. I mean, you're looking at the news in Chicago and California, New York, or the criminals, the cartel, they're let out on the streets and back. I don't think it's going to happen in this life. But I do believe it'll happen in the next. I firmly believe that. I always believe that. And that's the solace you can only gain when you're dealing with a corrupt institution like our government. That's how the Soviets got through the Soviet Union and the Cuban prisoners got through the Fidel Castro years. I think you can get through it if you understand. Nobody can pay in this life when they take somebody else's. You can only pay in the next. I believe that. And the greatest thing that could happen to this guy is he lives for 1,000 years. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you brought up, some of the way the Russians were. And actually, you ever heard of the guy Alexander Solzhenitsyn?
Sure.
He's the guy that wrote the Archie. Okay.
Yeah.
He has a thing here, and you have a second? You got about 30 seconds. I can read this real quick.
Go right ahead. Hurry up.
All right. It said, times are coming. The most terrifying force of death comes at the hands of men who wanted to be left alone. They try so very hard to mind their own business and provide for themselves and those they love. They resist every impulse to fight back, knowing the forced and permanent change of that life that will come from it. They know that the moment they fight back, their lives, as they have known them, are over. The moment the men who wanted to be left alone are forced to fight back as a form of suicide, they're literally killing off who they used to be, which is why when forced to take up violence, these men who wanted to be left alone fight with unholy vengeance against those who murdered their former lives. They fight with raw hate and a drive that cannot be fathomed by those who are merely play acting at politics and terror. True terror will arrive at these people's door, and they will cry, scream, and beg for mercy, but it will fall upon deaf ears of the men who just wanted to be left alone.
So the good guys win in the end.
What's that?
The good guys win in the end. That's the moral of the story, as I hear it.
Yes, but you know
Thank
what?
you.
There's a whole...
Don't be mad at me. I'm against the
you,
clock.
Shaun.
Thank you, brother. Kira, real quick.
Sean, just thank you for changing my mind. You're right. Fauci's going to lose in hell now for the rest of his days here, so you just changed my mind. I don't want him to be crucified.
No. Let him live 1,000 years like Joe Biden on a changing table. Jerry, Bill, Phyllis, I'm sorry I didn't get to you, brother and sister. Clocks. We're against the clock.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
It's hard to deny the constant attack of negative emotions that flood us online. The fear, anxiety, worry, and confusion that come from the constant stream of news and social media can be overwhelming. There is a way to escape this never-ending cycle and find peace, hope, and joy in your daily life. Christianity.com, with a wide range of daily devotionals, biblical answers to life's toughest questions, and insightful Bible study articles from your favorite pastors and authors on current events and issues, Christianity.com provides a little heaven on earth. Go to Christianity.com now.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Is it a market correction? Is it a crash? Or did stocks just go on sale and you turn those computers on and buy, Mortimer, buy? We'll discuss market activity. And the Fed, they were supposed to raise the rates. They did nothing. I was hoping they'd cut them. I think Warsh is the right guy. God knows he's a lot better than what we had. We'll discuss that and so much more with Scott the Cow Guy Shelley, Master Whiz. Whether it's economy, whether it's commodities, cash products, Scott the Cow Guy Shelley will join us after Foxweiser.
A warning for Iran. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump putting Iran on notice after Tehran targeted American troops in the Middle East last night.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it.
The missile attacks from Iran were intercepted. Still, the president says he's optimistic Iran will come to the negotiating table. And on the SAVE Act, the president says he would like the Senate to skip the August recess and get it passed. And he said Senate Majority Leader John Thune is wrong when he said they don't have the votes to pass it.
That's too bad for him. I mean, that's too bad for him and too bad for the Republican Party.
Do you believe that?
He's got the votes. He should get it done.
Democrats have said the ID restrictions for voting put a heavier burden on people of color and married women. It was all questions and no answers on Capitol Hill in a contentious hearing for the man who helped lead the nation's COVID response.
Dr. Anthony Fauci not answering questions.
Based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment.
Over what Homeland Security Committee Chair Republican Rand Paul says was a man-made COVID-19 epidemic from a lab in China that he says NIH, through Dr. Fauci, funded.
To many Americans who lost family members, who lost trust in our federal government, you're not a hero. Unfortunately, you're a villain.
Florida Senator Republican Rick Scott, as Democrats, including Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, call the hearing.
The campaign to vilify you, Dr. Fauci, is just one part of this larger campaign against science.
Fauci's attorney also removed from the hearing after repeatedly attempting to intervene.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, a man already serving 25 years on state attempted murder charges in the stabbing of author Salman Rushdie, is now convicted on federal terrorism charges. A jury has found Hadi Matar guilty on all counts in the 2022 attack near Buffalo, New York. Rushdie has faced a decades-old death threat over his 1988 novel, The Satanic Verses. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Inbound Edens, accident at Peterson. It's an hour going in. The outbound trip is not bad. The Kennedy downtown out to the airport, 50 minutes. Accident reported inbound Eisenhower near Ridgeland. Hour and 35 in, and it's an hour going back out to 390. Stevenson out, 55 out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. 30 minutes outbound Ryan, tighten the express, Pershing to Marquette. We are seeing delays continuing along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, either direction, Tri-State. You can say the same. Jane Addams is okay. Westbound Reagan, heavy into Route 53. Accident northbound 355 off to the shoulder at Beesterfield. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy atmosphere. The high will reach 87 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
When it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Joni shared that before Relief Factor, her husband couldn't open his hands in the morning and had to give up playing the guitar. Now he wakes up with flexibility, and he's back to playing music. They are both recommending Relief Factor to friends as a way to enjoy the things they love again. I get what Joni's husband went through. I couldn't paint. I couldn't button my own shirts in the morning. The pain made it so difficult to hold a paintbrush or button my shirts. It was horrible. And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family. Echo. I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
That's where I want to be.
That's
EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Shaun Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Market correction. Market collapse, or did stocks just go on sale? There's only one guy to ask that question to. You see, I've had the pleasure of knowing him for many, many years. But when it comes to this type of discussion on 3 continents, whether it's cash equities, commodities, or financial products of any kind, one place to go. Scott the Cow Guy Shality. How are you, handsome?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
Very good. Turn those computers back on and buy, Mortimer. Buy. What do you think?
Well, I mean, in the rear view, every sell-off looks like an opportunity, and throughout the windscreen, it looks like something to be afraid of. I think it's okay. We're 2.19% lower today, almost around 1,200 points. It's the worst day since April of last year. But I think it's all buying opportunity. I'm not normally bullish, but I'm glad to see the market doing what it's doing because I want to get some of these things at better prices like Microsoft and Google, NVIDIA, CoreWeave. I think that there's some great deals out there. It's just I have to see a little bit more capitulation, like real panic, and then I'm going to go in.
Well, just, from the perspective aspect, if you look at a year ago, you're talking about, what are we, about 6,500 points higher than we were a year ago in just the Dow. So if you pan out, it's, to me, it hasn't appeared to break the bottom rung of what is what we used to use years ago, the 3-prong on an angle on the moving average. It still seems to be in the range of a bull market. However, that being said, you do have the Islamo-Nazi insanity, which I still don't know why it's affecting anything. I mean, the country in total, Iran, it has a GDP that's 50% the revenue of Walmart in the grand scheme of things. We get 0% of the oil, except for California, which has legislated that they must have 4% of Iranian oil, which still is mind-boggling to me. But if you look at the grand scheme of what this country is, we're net oil producers. We've got enough oil for 1,000 years, if not more. I don't like how it affects everything, even though I understand it's a war. But, we've always been in one or another, haven't we?
Yeah, but it's the technology today now, Shaun. I mean, there's a lot of great things with technology, but there's some things that are irritating. And I roll my eyes every morning because if I see oil up, I know equities are going to be lower, bonds will be lower, yields will be higher. It's almost boring by now. But this is what these the algos and these high-frequency traders, they're all programmed to read these headlines and do these trades without really any people behind it. I mean, you'd be surprised. There's hardly any people trading anymore. It's almost all algorithmic, electronic trading.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how things have drastically changed. Now, I'd like to think it's for the better, but I'm not 100% sure because there really is no argument per se, and they can run it wherever they want. I remember after the 2008 and with Obama and the bailouts, remember how many guys in the pit start selling that? Sold! And you see, where's the resistance now? Are there any naked shorts anymore? Have they legislated the idea that there can be anything other than people making decisions whether to stay in the market or get out? It's interesting to see also the mass revenue that is being produced. The revenue is on the side of the market, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got record earnings. I mean, almost 30%. It's absolutely insane. And, there's always these people, the people that want, you and I, you traded. I did too. I traded through the dot-com era of the 2000s, 25, 6 years ago. The difference is they're trying to roll out these equivocations. Oh, you know what? At the peak, Amazon was trading X back in 2000. When it popped, like this will pop. It took 12 years to get back to where it was. Well, yeah, you know why? It wasn't making any money. I mean, these firms today, NVIDIA and these chip makers, they're making so much money that they can spend a lot of money, but the market now has to worry about something. So they're not worried about how much money they're making. They're worried about how much money they're spending. And I got to tell you, the analysts on Wall Street are irritating me like you wouldn't believe. Whatever their names are. Joey Numbnuts, whose ears come up past his shoulders, and he's the one covering NVIDIA or covering. I mean, Google smashed their earnings and they sold the stock off. I mean, it's insane. So you got to let it. Right now, we're in the middle of. Everybody needs to take a deep breath. The market will go. I mean, this time next year, the market will be higher, most likely, almost for surely. And then 3 years' time, it definitely will be. Just relax. Pick the companies that you think are going to be around. Close your eyes, hold your nose, and buy them. And then put it away in the bottom drawer, and we'll take a look at it next July.
Well, and then there's also the currency hedge, right? Because the sad reality is, and we discussed this before, if you and I were president and you were the treasurer, you can't stop with the automatic spend of this insane policy degeneracy of fraud that the government has devolved into since Barack Obama was late on his car payment. It's amazing how many of these laws are on autopilot. And, and they just passed that thing. If you're on welfare, if you're on government sustenance, you cannot wire money out of the country. How many people knew you could? So if you live on welfare, you're wiring hundreds of thousands out of the country. There may be fraud involved, so I do love the aspect of how much fraud is being prosecuted, and that's Todd Blanche. It's an underreported story, but there are tens of thousands of people now that have been identified and been charged with just the amount of fraud. We just figured it was always going to be cooked in the books because there's so many Democrats out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the problem is, Shaun, I think they think it's about annually, if they caught it all, per year, it's about $1 trillion in fraud from, top to bottom, whatever they're stealing.
Sure.
But even if we caught it, even if we caught every last penny of it, we still overspend by $2.2 trillion. So we're only getting just less than half of that problem solved. We spend too much. I mean, that's the problem. We take in just over $5 trillion in taxes, and we spend just over $7 trillion. So every year, I mean, that's insane.
No, it's preposterous, and it's so much of it. I think it's like $5 trillion on autopilot. The vast majority of that money going to what's called entitlements. Whether you call public school education an entitlement, as people get dumber and the cost gets more expensive, or Medicare. Medicaid.
Hold on, you can wire money if you're on benefits.
You used to be able to. This is the cooked-in fraud that the politicians knew was in the system. That's how they allowed it. So many. Well, look you got 80% of just one group of Somalians are on welfare. Just Somalians. Now factor in the other cults in the country, wherever they are, from Maine to Ohio to Haiti they're all given complete sustenance, complete government sustenance, and they're working and they're wiring money back home. I'll never forget. Remember when the cartels all started? I'm going back to the 90s now, and the money wired back to Mexico from illegal aliens working here was the number 3 equation of their entire economy in Mexico, which is basically a front for cartels anyway. So when you look at the way these countries are existing, it's from their citizens coming here legally and illegally and stealing our fracking money, whether it's Somalia or Guadalajara. It's the same scam. So at least now you got a president that understands. If you could just really, it's a Trump austerity program that I see they're doing. And I think Warsh, I was hoping he'd cut the rate today and really throw a wrench into things. But he is so much better than what I was calling for the non-advertised cut to the rate. Can you imagine what that would have done?
That would have been a massive surprise. First of all,
we'd be down 4,000 points. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can't even believe we're talking about rate hikes. I mean, this is insane. These people, maybe it's just because I'm old and I'm crotchety, but the idea that we even have the prospect of a possible rate hike and 3 out of 12 voted for it this last meeting, that's insane. We have one problem, and that's called crude oil. That's what's making our inflation look bad. Once that gets taken care of, we go back down to the mid-60s, and some people think we're going to go lower than that. So if they think that they're going to raise rates they're going to make long-term monetary policy decisions on short-term fluctuations in crude oil. They're out of their mind.
The whole thing is so unhinged from the way in which I would learn fundamental economics. It's like you're almost, that's the part where you say you get crotchety, but the fundamentals never change. You can ignore them for as long as you want to ignore them. But, the other component that I think is amazing are these blue states and the amount of money, federal money that flows into them. I was looking at the whole grant program. Government grants, that's a problem that didn't exist during the dot-com bubble nearly to the level it exists now. It's $1.3 trillion the federal government gives in grants. What's a grant? A grant is here you go. Here's some walking around fracking cheese for you. 70% of the grant money, nobody can tell you where it is. And you give it to all these blue fiefdoms. So when you've got $1.3 trillion in government grant money, on top of the $5 trillion on auto spend for entitlements, you want to talk about balancing the budget right there. You're what's left? The military, and then what else? The function of government that you and I pay taxes to. So we're on a doom loop of automatic spending and ridiculous money that nobody cares about. And unless the Trump administration can bring some sort of fiscal responsibility, it's either that or you induce if your deficit is more than 3%, no sitting congressman is eligible to run for re-election. You could do that. The Buffet, Warren Buffet. He said, we'll balance it in 15 minutes. If you're more than 3% of GDP overspending, nobody's eligible for re-election. Because after all, the Congress is supposed to do all this. They ceded their power over the last 50 years. Now they're just putting lipstick on the pig of the policy, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, and the thing about it is that, no matter how ridiculous the issue, if you try to make it right, there's always somebody that's going to cry that it's unfair and it's racist and you're doing somebody wrong. I mean, that's what I don't understand. I can't believe what I'm reading about Fauci's testimony today. Some people think the guy's a saint. The guy really tried to do good. I don't know what you're looking at. I want to sit these people down and ask them how they got to that point of view, how they literally could be thinking that, reading the testimony that's out there with his diaries and all the emails. It's unbelievable that people are sitting there. Dick Durbin, are you kidding me? Goes to bat for this guy today? I cannot believe what I'm hearing. And so you want to take away spending? There's always look. We've got people that are saying it's okay to give millions of dollars to some of these small countries over in Africa to help them with their gay and lesbian drag shows at libraries. I mean, are you kidding? Where have we come? I mean, I just, it's mind-boggling.
See, this is because you didn't spend enough time with me. I met you, and you were at the Board of Trade. I was at the Merc. But if you would have spent enough time with me, you would have enjoyed the kind of environment I provided for you at the Cigar Lounge. If you're dumb enough or corrupt enough to be a Democrat, I don't give a rip what you say. Not only that, the valet, are you a Democrat? You don't park my car. They cannot do the simplest things. Do you not remember the highest economic advisor to Joe Biden? I just want to play this for you.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
That's Jared Bernstein, Scott. Jared Bernstein was the highest economic advisor to Joe Biden. I mean, we're lucky it's only this. Yeah. We're lucky it's only this big. And he's still brought on. Well, you were an economic advisor. And you look at what he did, how he got the job. He lost $1.5 billion trading when it was almost impossible to lose money trading from 2000 to 2004. How do you lose $1.5 billion trading? You have to try to. And you look at what these people have done through their policies, and it all traces back to the acceptability of utopia. You know, that's why I don't get too aggravated. I mean, I do when you hear a Democratic Socialist of America. They're just Nazis and commies. But trace it back to what Barack Obama promised with the health care. Has anybody ever brought it up who's ever been a Democrat? Didn't you say you were going to lower my premiums by $2,500 a year? I'm paying $5,000 a month, moron. Nobody's mad? So you've got an entire part of your society that are too stupid to understand the problem, or they're making money on the scams. That's it. It's like O'Hare. It's like dealing with every vendor at O'Hare. Are you just dumb, or are you somebody's girlfriend? Simple.
And then I don't know what to say about it, too, because it really bothers me where you've got these activist Democrats that are calling President Trump a deranged, sick man with Alzheimer's. And I think to myself, how can they stand on that platform and really say that with what they just put us through the last 4 years with Biden? That is unbelievably ignorant, and they're absolutely now canceled in my mind because you can't put those two things together. Well, we just went through with Biden, and they're going to try to say, "Oh, Trump's sick. He's got something wrong with his brain. He's mentally." Where were you for 4 years when Biden was in office? When it was so blatantly obvious. My dad died of Alzheimer's. That guy had all the same symptoms my dad did. And if I say, "Oh, I think Biden's got Alzheimer's," you know how many people on my show would hit my social media accounts going, "Oh, so what are you, a doctor now? Well, you know what to, whatever."
You let the Democrats.
With it.
Wait, right now we're all over the place. There's nobody listening to us that's a Democrat. I banned them from everything. You can't have them. You wouldn't give them access to your. Are you nuts? Get the hell out of here. Were you dumb enough to vote for the dimwit in diapers or the office whore? I don't really give a rip what you have to say. That's the way it's going. And you know why I say it so confidently? Look at the areas they reside in and rule over. Look at Chicago. Look at it. And right now, as they all run, there's 17 morons running? Every one of them, except for one girl, every one of them a Democrat. Every one of them. Oh, you're going to solve the problem? Rahm Emanuel is the biggest hedge for the outsider of the Democrat nomination for president. Nine-finger Yakuza. What that moron did to Chicago, people are going to think about voting for him. So I love the fact that here you are, you got buildings in the Loop selling for 84%. If you're lucky, an 84% loss from 10-year-ago prices without inflationally adjusting it. And look at what's happening in Tennessee. Your town. Look at what's happening there. It's a completely different environment. Did you see how many businesses have fled? Did you heard about that Save-A-Lot, right? Well, Save-A-Lot just 6 years ago, the city gave them I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars. They're done. Out of the 70% of their revenue, food stamps. Where's the money? It's a kleptocracy, and it's undeniable. And everybody should use the example of New York, New Jersey, Philly, Chicago. If you want to live in the ghetto, vote Democrat. It's simple. You want to live in a ghetto, make sure a Democrat's in charge of your government.
Exactly right. And everybody's bragging, oh, you know what, the population of Chicago has risen. Yeah, with illegal immigrants. That's what's happening. A lot of people that have great jobs have been leaving. They're all fleeing that place like, rats off a ship. I don't know how that math is not going to work. They're talking about how houses have come up 6.5%. Yeah, from the bottom because it stinks so bad, and people are now getting sucked in to go buy them because they think it's going to turn around. It's not turning around. I don't want to have anything to do with that place. It's horrible. And it's only getting worse. And if they've got 16 Democrats running for mayor, you think that anything is going to change? No way.
Wait a minute. The new guy running, his name is John Kelly. Okay? And he's a throwback to the short and the pants mafia. I mean, he looks like he just was having Thanksgiving dinner with the Daley family, right? So they're going to go back let's go back to when it was all right, it was tolerable. And he's a lobbyist, number one. Supposedly, his firm is the firm that represented Madigan after he got caught. After he got pinched, they were his defense attorneys. Oh, you're going to be the savior? And that's the wink and the nod to all the half-assed wise guys. He wasn't so bad. I mean, after all, I got the job. I didn't have to go to. It's all the same bull dung. So the forecast is the Democrat areas will continue down the path of fiefdoms, corruption, and they're going to try and normalize it the way they always did. But it's different now. The COVID money, gone. And the scandal of what COVID was and the trillions cooked up for it, from the money that was stolen from the PPP loans at Ghetto Loretto Hospital to all the money nobody can account for. It's gone. So I think the worst is yet to come for Democrat areas and the best is yet to come for Tennessee. So this is the beauty of it. I'm celebrating this. Go ahead. Take all the illegal aliens. All the scumbags. Run to the blue areas.
I said that about 8 months ago. I said, you know what Trump should do? He should not try to stop sanctuary cities or states. Let them keep going, because everybody that comes into the country is going to go there, and they're going to have to use their tax dollars to support people that haven't put a dime into the system. They're going to fall under their own weight. I would say, hey, have at it. New York, Chicago, L.A., stay your sanctuary cities, stay sanctuary states, because you guys are going to fall in on yourselves.
Not one Democrat congressman or senator, not one, was at the hearing on fraud. How could that be? You mean to tell me every single Democrat area, every single one, is now like Cook County? That's how you know this is a beautiful time to be alive. Because all those years when we were down there, they were normalizing, right? It's not so bad. I got a guy. And Now it is undeniable. And that's the beauty of what it is. It's like the market. It's undeniable. This market, as far as I'm concerned, as the stocks fluctuate and the rest of it, there are some cream puffs and cherries in there to be grabbed on days like today. And like you said, put it in a drawer in 3 years and come back to it. Look at gold, $4,000 an ounce. I think it's a buying opportunity. I was talking to Dirty Curdy. He's like, listen, if they keep down this path, it'll be $40,000 in 10 years. Buy it all.
Yeah,
I really believe like that. You keep doing it. An ounce of gold for $4,000. What are you, crazy? They said the same thing when it was $500, and you remember it. $700 an ounce. What are you, nuts? How bad do you want to go back in time and buy everything you can? This is the opportunity of good always being good and bad always run by Democrats. It's that simple.
Yeah, and so we're going to have two different countries, because all these sanctuary cities and states are going to have their own issues, their own problems. They're praying to God that they get somebody in the office after Trump's out. And I think if we get Rubio, or somebody like that in there, they have another 4 years. There will be some serious ramifications to those Democratic cities and states that are sanctuary cities and states, because they're not going to get the handouts they're all banking on.
6 years ago, I was here during the beginning of COVID, right? I'm showing property. And I walk into this old guy's house, and he's got the military flag on the side. And I start talking. He goes, "Oh, where are you from? You from New York?" No, I'm from Chicago. I'm not selling my house to any Democrats. This is what the guy said to me. "Now your house is for sale." I said, "I love you. Are you related to me? Because I won't even take their phone calls. Call my phone." To this day, if you voted for Joe Biden, don't leave a message. Don't call back and don't expect a call back. This is the way it's going. 6 years ago, that was a scandal. I just did a deal today. First thing the guy said to me, "Your people from Chicago, they're not Democrats, are they?" "No." "Okay, good, because I told my neighbors I'm not going to bring in the scumbags." It's that obvious. And that's why I have more faith in the good areas being good. I don't know if you saw for congressman now, Byron Donalds in my district, he's going to run for governor. There's 74 people, including 4 Chicagoans. 4 Chicagoans all running for Congress. Not a one of them ever been a Democrat. I think the separation and the Cold War, the Cold Civil War that people have been ignoring, it's getting hotter and hotter. The separation is obvious, and it's simple. You want your kids to have a good life? Make sure you don't attach them to the land the way most of us got attached to it. I can't leave. I got my business, my infrastructure. This is the time to make sure your grandkids and their great-grandkids are never governed by Democrats. What do you think?
I think that's a great opportunity, great advice. And you know what? I think with technology, that makes them less attached to the land. They can go. They can move quickly.
Absolutely.
Pick up a server and move. I mean, get out of there, because it's not going to be coming back.
Nope. Scott Trality, I love you to death. Thank you so much. What's on the ticket for tomorrow?
I'm doing it right now. Well, we got to talk about the market turmoil. We got to talk about Meta and Microsoft. Meta got smoked. Microsoft did okay. We talk about the GDP numbers we get tomorrow. We got PCE. We got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah. And wait till this Microsoft thing breaks. You know, I was looking at the contracts they got under Obama, the collusion that they had involved with this Fauci, and you know, the Bill Gates is a eugenics guy and all the rest of it. I think there's that dog hunts. I think people are going to start suing Bill Gates and Microsoft. I'm shorting Microsoft. Let the record show.
All right.
RFD TV every day from 12:30 to 1. Scott the Cow Guy Trality, you handsome son of a gun. See you next week.
Sure, brother. Thanks. See ya.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up, because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now, I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com, and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
You need to be tuning into the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, the radio companion to the Amazon best-selling book, Success Blueprint, How to Build the Retirement You Deserve. Each week, Michael shares strategies designed to help reduce market risk through income-generating investments that can provide steady returns. Because if you can avoid a big loss, you don't need to take big risks. Catch the Retirement Success Blueprint with Michael Stewart, Saturday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments right after I invite you to Shaun Fest. Shaun Fest is happening on August 28th right there in Itasca. And all you have to do to register is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. And that's our little family get-together, the end of the summer family picnic. There's food available. There's drinks available. The Westin in Itasca is an absolutely fantastic place. Right behind it is the Lakeside Pavilion. And we're going to be outdoors, so we'll be smoking. Cigars will be available thanks to Arlington Heights Pipe and Tobacco. We are going to have so much opportunity to just engage with all the good people trapped in a very, very bad area. And all you have to do to register is 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. I'm going to get there around 3. I'm going to stay until I get to shake each and every one of your hands. And thank you so much for being part of our little family in a kleptocracy that we've all known existed, that we kind of pretended was going to get better. It's not getting better. The good people have an opportunity to come together, and I will not let one scoundrel in there. There will be no Madigan supporters. There will be no Biden supporters. There will only be the good people that have been trapped in bad areas. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest, sponsored in part by Virago, leaving-l.com, State Farm Insurance agent Anthony DeGrotto, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance, owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. See you there, August 28th. 312-642-5600. When we get back, I'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, our forecast has a crystal clear sky for tonight with a low of 63. Dr. Anthony Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment at a hearing before a GOP-led Senate panel today.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
In Chicago, 11 were shot, including 2 who died, and 1 person was stabbed in separate incidents across Chicago between late Tuesday evening and early Wednesday morning. 3 Chicago area men are facing felony charges after authorities say they stole and vandalized 5 automated license plate reader cameras early Sunday morning in Lisle. And Northern Illinois University mourning the death of its former football coach Joe Novak, his most successful season, 2003, when NIU finished 10-2 and the top 10 in the BCS standings. The news, a service of Staples. It's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school Staples. Your next news update comes your way at 7, and up next, an update on the evening commute with Jill Urchak.
On the inbound Edens, that accident at Peterson off to the side, 50 minutes in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose. The Kennedy outbound, it's now a 38-minute trip out to O'Hare. The Eisenhower out is at 50, post office to 390. Stevenson outbound side, give yourself 45 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. And the Ryan, a 20-minute trip out to 95th. We're still seeing some types in the Express Pershing to Marquette. Delays remain along the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive, both directions, but it is improving along with the other tollways. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 62. Tomorrow, the sun will gradually be obscured by clouds as wildfire smoke creates a hazy sky. The temperature will reach a high of 87. Tomorrow night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies on the dollar. As a leading tax resolution firm, we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, hundreds of 5-star reviews, and a 4.9-star rating on Google because we deliver results and huge savings. If you owe $5,000 or more and even facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or IRS letters, call us today at 800-741-5015. Once you call, our tax professionals will call the IRS with you for free, and within minutes, start negotiating a settlement. We'll put a stop to collections and fight to get you the best settlement possible. Choose the company Americans trust most. Call Priority Tax Relief now at 800-741-5015 to see what relief you qualify for. Don't wait. Make the call. Dial 800-741-5015. Once again, that's 800-741-5015.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The
Answer. Chicago man, prosecutors say, was under the influence of PCP. Michael Zuma pled guilty to 2 counts of aggravated DUI causing great bodily harm. He was sentenced by Judge Sophia Atcherson. He must serve 80% of his prison time. Oh, gee, that's terrible. How much time did he get, Squirrel? You want to know how much time he got? 17 months. Lady lost her legs. Lady lost her legs. Another guy broke his entire lower half of his pelvis. It is preposterous to think there is ever going to be justice when Democrats are in charge of anything. Here is a Portland, which, by the way, if you've lived under a rock, Portland is a ghetto, an absolute ghetto. The home base of Antifa, Trans-Tifa, and every freak show out there. Here they are apologizing for arresting a drug dealer who was on videotape for months and months and months.
A Portland man was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for dealing drugs, and many of the crimes were caught on TriMet surveillance cameras.
Fox 12's Vince Ibarra joins us now in studio with the video and what the district attorney's office is saying tonight. Vince?
Yeah, well, Pete Real, the district attorney's office wants people to know that this kind of activity is extremely hurtful, not just to the community, but also to those struggling with addiction. The district attorney's office says one man that's contributed to drug use in Portland is now behind bars. Drug dealing caught on camera.
This is our office saying enough is enough.
This footage provided by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office shows Elliot Mejia selling drugs at the TriMet station on 122nd and Burnside in East Portland.
He obviously is contributing to the prolific drug use in the area, the fact that the businesses are constantly having to deal with the fallout from that. He's also contributing to he's contributing to the epidemic that we have in our society.
Mejia accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 90 months in prison. The DA's office says the investigation was prompted by the TriMet team reviewing security footage. According to court documents, in June 2025, Mejia was arrested on several charges, including unlawful possession of methamphetamine. The DA's office acknowledges 90 months is a long time to spend in prison for selling drugs, but they explain this isn't the first time Mejia has been in trouble with the law.
They apologize. Not the first time he was in trouble with the law. This is the idea that somehow there's going to be a utopia where criminals are allowed and protected by government. There is no utopia. There's just rewarding scumbags.
Through that security footage that you see, and they say they'll continue to ensure people are safe while riding public transit. Pete Rio.
In New York City, would you support that recommendation?
First, I want to say that I stand by what I submitted.
Yes.
It's the truth.
Yes.
It's not a personal assessment. And we often think about slavery and the complicity in slavery as being exclusively to certain geographic areas of the country.
33 years old, never worked a day in his life. The mayor of what used to be a fantastic city. People are fleeing. Crime is chaos. He's talking about slavery? What separates the two? Morons. Never had a job when all else fails? Talk reparations.
It's why I've invested in our streets and sanitation division, where we're hiring young people to be connected to a division of labor that black men in this country found dignity. I like to think of it as a form of reparations, if you will.
The audacity that he thinks he's the arbitrator of dignity, and the outrageous statement that somehow he is delivering dignity versus taking it away. See, this is what Democrats do. They take away the dignity. They tell you a fairy tale that never exists.
We do not want to save a lot in our community.
Dozens of Englewood neighbors, together with city leaders, voiced their concerns outside the new Save-A-Lot grocery store on West 63rd near Halstead.
You got that? In 2023, the community protested the opening of a Save-A-Lot grocery store. The city gave the company over $13 million to refurbish and open several of these grocery stores.
I didn't hear that in the update story. Of the 7 stores that existed on food stamps, 70% of the revenue. They're not only closing, they were funded with tax dollars to open in the first place. And the very neighborhood that complains they left protested their opening.
City officials, however, tell ABC7 taxpayer money is safe. Under the terms of the contract, Yellow Banana doesn't receive any money until a store opens. And even then, all stores must remain open for at least 10 years or they risk forfeiting the entire amount.
Well, now they're out of business. So now what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters?
This story is ending in the most artistic and poetic way possible.
The operator, an Ohio company called Yellow Banana, agreed to keep them open for 10 years. The stores didn't make it 2.
All 7 Save-A-Lot stores are set to shut down Saturday.
You'll never guess what some are blaming the closures on.
It's the same old story, to be honest with you. And it's not just here, it's nationally when it comes down to black communities.
Yes, of course. Well, here's the official reason.
The city attributes this to the recent death of the CEO of Yellow Banana and cuts to SNAP benefits.
The company says they are also grappling with a 26% drop in SNAP and EBT transactions over last year.
Giant fraud, failure, scam. Like the CTA. Don't worry, things are going to get better on the CTA. Sure, 8 to 9 out of 10 don't pay any of the fare. Create nothing but chaos. Besides from the smoking, there's beatings. Here's the good news. Your city officials have decided to put up signs that say no crime.
This is Chicago.
In order to have a safe, thriving city, we need to have a safe public transportation system. So today we are launching our initiative that we, as the State's Attorney's Office and the CTA, are taking crime on the CTA very seriously. Everyone deserves a safe and enjoyable ride, and we're working together to make sure that happens. We are putting up these signs as an indication of what the consequences will be in any criminal actions.
The signs say no crime. Try one that says no guns, no smoking, no scumbags. You want to live in a ghetto? Keep voting for a Democrat. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
It's peaceful here. Quiet. But it wasn't always. Here, the past isn't confined to textbooks or museums. It's in the soil. A pulse within the earth. Here, you can walk in step with history, where others once marched towards the unknown. The past is never really behind us. It's here, under our feet. The land never forgets the stride of the weary or the reach of the hopeful. The land remembers. And so does the American Battlefield Trust, dedicated to preserving America's hallowed battlegrounds. Now, on our nation's 250th birthday, become a member so the next acre becomes the next chapter. The next chapter becomes the next lesson. Join the trust. Protect the future. Go to battlefields.org.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5400 to schedule a free consultation.
For over 40 years, the Heartland Institute has stood for the ideas that built this country. Free markets, limited government, and individual freedom. Now you're invited to celebrate that legacy in person. Join Heartland on Thursday, September 3rd for their 42nd anniversary benefit dinner at the historic Palmer House Hilton in downtown Chicago, one of the city's most iconic addresses for over 150 years. This year's keynote speaker is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has led Florida through 2 terms of record economic growth, making it one of the fastest growing states in the nation. The evening kicks off with a reception at 5, dinner at 6, an evening of great company, great conversation, and a shared belief in the principles that made America exceptional. Seats are limited, and they will go fast. Reserve yours today at benefit.heartland.org. That's benefit.heartland.org. The Heartland Institute's 42nd Anniversary Benefit Dinner, September 3rd, Palmer House Hilton, Chicago. Don't just believe in freedom. Celebrate it.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560.
The answer.
I was actually wondering how long it would take for somebody to call in with the most obvious of realities in the ghetto. Sarah, Glenview.
Hi. These CPS honor students, they're illiterate. The idiots can't read. What's the point of putting those signs up?
It's right next to the point of outlawing guns in the city that Brandon Johnson is celebrating. And Sarah, I don't know if you heard J.B. Pritzker with no upper body strength and that big belly with an Audi.
More teachers are working in the state of Illinois than ever before. And that's producing real results. Illinois is now among the best states for K-12 education in the entire nation. U.S. News now ranks us as 5th in the nation.
5th in the nation. You know what's funny, though, about this whole thing, Sarah? Here we are 4 months ago.
Illinois has 24 schools where not a single child can read at grade level.
There you go, Sarah. It's not a lie if you believe it or you're too stupid to read. Thank you, Sarah. What are you doing in Glenview? Will you come down here? Will you come down here? What are you doing? You move next door to me. Thank you very much.
Sure.
James Schaumburg.
Hey, brother. Yeah, that butter-handed slob. You know, the next thing, they passed the SAVE Act. The next thing you ought to do is end the Department of Education with all the recommendations they took from Fauci. But that's not why I called. But you mentioned Tiny Dancer, the nine-fingered jerk. Articulate though he was, you know, they don't care about protecting the public. And he did the longest slow burn on disassembling organized crime units starting in 2010 to completely dissolving them in 2018. And very few people know that. And they don't care about protecting the public.
Well, do you remember, James, it's funny you say that. Do you remember when, I think it was Lori Lightfoot, right after him, she got rid of all the information that the police had put together for years of the gangs, the structure, the players in it. You remember that? Why in the world would you get rid of that?
Absolutely.
Why in the world?
You were talking about corruption. The gangs owned those guys. Exactly. I mean, gang members were put through the police. You know, they didn't turn bad. These aren't cops that were good and turned sour. They were already part of members, and they went into the system. They went through the academy, and they turned the other way.
That's why you can't go where there is no law. Now, James, just on a side note, as a man, what would you do if you looked in the mirror and you had a T-shirt on and you looked like J.B. Pritzker looked this weekend in a T-shirt? Did you ever see a man look like that in a T-shirt? Get the hell out of here. Why do they keep electing these idiots? Did you see them?
I can't believe it. I mean, that butter-handed freak, he screwed over his own cousins.
Oh,
you know,
ask. How could you tell them apart?
Within their own family. They have no honor at all.
No, they don't, James. Thank you very much. They all bear a striking resemblance to the Flintstone, Fred Flintstone. We'll be back in 21.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. A bank